All right. So first of all, do you mind if we use the kitchen table? That would be awesome. No, yeah, I know it's a little dirty. Hey, don't worry, I'll help you clean it up. This is just the best environment for the appointment. So, okay, cool. We're gonna move stuff around there. Cool. Mr. Jones, do you mind if y'all sit right here? I'm gonna sit right here next to you guys. And then do you mind if I use a chair? I'm gonna put my sample kit right next to me. Yeah. All right. Make sure the dog doesn't get it. All right. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to see my Cutco presentation. I know you guys are so busy. Obviously, you guys have so much going on, and the fact that you guys took some time out of your schedule to be able to visit with me really means a ton. Do you mind if I ask you guys a little bit about yourselves? First of all, tell me a little bit about like what kind of stuff goes on for you guys on a day-to-day basis in the kitchen. You know, do you guys mostly do like meal prep, or do you guys cook a little bit mostly on the fly, or do you guys have it planned out? That's a good question I'll ask. Another question that I wanted to know is what's some of your guys key, like how long have you guys been married for? That's amazing. What are some of your keys to being married for that long? That's amazing. I really can't keep a relationship longer than about 3 months. So, okay, I'm gonna write some of that down. Make sure that you buy good knives. Oh, wait, did you guys say that one? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Make sure that you actually talk a lot. Got it. By the way, time out. You need to probably not look at me while I'm doing this because you're gonna get sucked into my presentation. You need to take a crap ton of notes while I'm doing this so you don't forget 100% of everything that I'm about to say. This is not me bragging, but I've got a very like magnetic presentation where all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my God, what just happened for the last 30 minutes? So just again, you don't have to watch me. I would recommend you just mostly take notes. Again, that's not me just patting myself on the back. It's just sort of the way I talk. Yeah, do you guys do a lot of meal prepping? Do you guys kind of plan out your meals? Or do you guys just kind of cook whatever is on the fly or just ask whatever the kids want to eat that day? I'll ask them the question, how do you guys stay together so long? What's the keys, man? Okay, so got you. Buy really high quality knives. Oh no, is that not what you said? Just kidding. All right, so actually make sure to talk to each other. Okay, good. Make investments of American get made products and support college kids. Got it. That's a really good way to stay together. Mrs. Jones, I'm just joking. So as far as the kids, do they play any sports? Cool. All right, what do you play? And I won't even ask the parents. I'll just ask the kids. What do you guys play? Do you guys play soccer? Cool. Who's better, him or you? This guy? Dude, high five, bro. Don't listen to him. You're better. Right. And so I'll have a little interaction with them. Cool. So let's tell me a little bit about the most exciting place that you guys have ever traveled to. Or somewhere that you would definitely recommend that I go to one day in my life. Cool. I'm gonna write that down for myself. Okay, make sure that I go to Lubbock, Texas. All right, perfect. What's what would you say is like a lesson that you wish that you would have known at my age? What are some things that you wish that you would know when you're 18 years old that you think would have been really helpful? And before I tell you about my goals, what were some of your guys' goals when you were young that you're still working on? What were some of your guys' goals that you were that when you were young that you're still working on? Do you have like a business that you're trying to start, or maybe something you're trying to do in your community one day, or anything like that? Cool. So let me tell you a little bit about my goals. As you can see here, I've got my thermometer. And I'm in a really big sales competition right now in order to try to hit $10,000 in sales. And here's the thing. I have never been able to accomplish something like this. And I really am very hesitant to tell people my goals because as a young person, it's really hard to put myself in a position where it's very, very possible I'm going to fail. The chance of me hitting this goal is very small. I know for a fact that this is almost insurmountable, but I figured if I put a goal for myself that's easy to hit, it's not going to make me grow. So here's all the things that I'm hoping is going to happen on my path to hitting my goal. Number one is I'm going to finally be able to be good at managing my schedule and managing my time. I know that for me to be able to accomplish this, I have to be productive every single day for the between now and August 3rd. I can't have a bad day. I can't have a slow day. I can't be lazy. I have to actually get past the mental kind of fight of, I think I need breaks. You know, they say that the mind gives up much, much faster than the body can withstand things like a marathon. And so I want to really train myself to be able to delay how quickly I think that I need breaks. Because I want to be really productive. I want to be able to get out of some of the financial strife that I think my family had to inevitably have because of the fact that we're immigrants. I'm from Argentina. My family moved here with not a lot of money. And so, you know, I don't want to have the same financial thing that my family has going on. I want to actually be able to be a financial leader in my family. That's really important for me. I want to be able to pay for school, not because I think college is the only way to be successful in the world, but because I'm really excited to be able to finish what I started. And I want to be able to graduate college without having $30,000 to $50,000 of debt. I want to be able to do it in a way that really launches me forward in my future. I know that's not something that's easy to do. I know that's not something that a lot of young people are able to do, which is why I'm trying to be productive for 18 days in a row, because I know that's also something that a lot of my friends right now are not doing. A lot of my friends right now are sleeping till noon. A lot of my friends right now are playing video games, right? They're like comparing how many social media followers they have, even though that wasn't really a thing then, but you know, they're sort of just almost like proud to be lazy, right? They're proud to not care. And for me, I just don't think that's really the way that I want my generation to be viewed as. I want this to be the generation that really makes a lot of changes. And while some other people may not be doing that, I want to influence people to do that. And that's one of the reasons that I'm interested in being a manager in this Cutco company, because we work a lot with 17 to 23-year-olds. And I know for a fact that in my office, we're going to work with hundreds of them. And so I want to make an influence on those people, because I think that even if I can influence 20, 30, 100 young people as a manager next summer, those 100 people can influence 3 or 4, and I might be able to influence thousands. But I can't tell people to go do something that I'm not willing to do first. I can't tell people to be positive and productive and hard worker if I'm not willing to do it first. So that's why I woke up this morning at 6 in the morning to go to an all-day event for making phone calls. And then, you know, I'm here doing these 3 or 4 or 5 appointments that I have today. And I'm going to try to do 6 or 7 tomorrow, because for me, it's not really about hitting this goal. It's about the person that I'm becoming as I'm hitting this goal, and the people that I want to influence to go try to do the same thing, which is not, doesn't have to do a lot with selling Cutco. It has to do a lot with these skills that I'm trying to gain and develop along the way. Now, as far as Cutco is concerned, I feel like I hit the lottery, because it allows me to develop these skills and represent a product that I think is absolutely amazing. As an immigrant, man, most of the products that you can buy in foreign countries are really poor quality because they just don't pay their people very well. But Cutco is amazing. I mean, it's been around for 75 years. It's American made, and it does my favorite thing in the world, which is it promotes family time. Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, wouldn't you like to have more family time? You know, imagine if Mrs. Jones here cooked a meal from scratch because she had really kick-ass knives. Wouldn't she be more likely to say no screens, right? Like, she sets the table because she actually cooked it, right? And so I'm not saying, Mrs. Jones, you have to cook more food for them to respect the family time, but it definitely gives you another, another ace in the hole to kind of make that happen. And I believe that in this country, family time is the solution to all of our country's problems, just more communication with people at a younger age. Also, it's teaching young people to actually be able to be self-sufficient. You know, I want my goal, Mrs. Jones, one day is that if you do get Cutco, or if you have really good quality knives, is that you're actually teaching your son or daughter how to actually cook for themselves. I know a lot of young people my age that all they know how to do is order Jimmy John's. All they know how to do is burn macaroni and cheese, and they'll spend 3 to 5 times as much money on food during college as they would normally need to do. So my goal while selling Cutco is to create more family time, and to make it really easy for young people to learn how to actually use really high quality tools, so they know that actually they can cook for themselves, they can feel more sufficient, because being able to cook for yourself is like one of those basic needs. So again, that's why I'm working really hard, and that's why I'm really excited to show you Cutco. Now, before I show you Cutco, I just want to make sure that you know, Mrs. Jones, that I don't want you to feel pressure that you have to buy today. I don't want you to feel pressure that you have to buy today. In fact, Mrs. Jones, Cutco's a little bit too expensive to buy just to be nice. Cutco's a little bit too expensive to buy just to be nice. But my goal is that you really have a lot of fun today. We cut some food. You get a chance to snack. and that you have enough fun today where you feel super, super excited at the end of this to recommend me to 483 of your closest friends. But you don't have to worry about that now. That's how I'm going to break the record in my office for number of referrals. Only if at the end of this you like me and you think Cutco is pretty cool. Sound fair? Okay, awesome. All right, so I want to pause right there. And I want to see if anybody wants me to unpack any of that or repeat any of that, because I know I just went there a lot. Paige.
Last part that you were doing, so like, I don't want you to feel pressure to buy anything big that was a little too expensive to buy just to be nice.
Yeah.
And then what else was that?
But my goal is by the end of this, that we're having a ton of fun, something I left out. And if you want to invest into a set of Cutco today, that I help you get the best possible crazy deal, and that you have so much fun that you can't wait to refer me to 483 of your closest friends. Now, again, don't worry about that now. It's only if by the end of it you had fun and you liked me and you thought Cutco was pretty cool.
Can you repeat it again? Sorry.
I also recorded that so y'all can watch it if you want to. I'm going to move on. But so Mrs. Jones, my goal today is, I don't want you to feel pressure that you need to buy Cutco for some reason. Cutco's a little bit too expensive to buy just to be nice. But my goal is that we have so much fun. And if you love a Cutco set, that I help you get the world's greatest deal, and that you had so much fun with me today that you are super excited to recommend me to 480 of your closest nice mom friends. But don't worry about that. And I'll hold up my hand like that. Why am I doing that? Is to prevent them from already giving me an objection. But you don't have to worry about that now. It's only if you have a lot of fun and you think Cutco is cool and you thought I was nice. Sound fair? And if they say yes, they just agreed to give me referrals before I even started the demo. Okay. So Mrs. Jones, I just want to first of all ask a couple of questions. If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to send you on a little scavenger hunt. The kids can help if they want. Can you go grab me your favorite straight edge knife? Your favorite serrated edge knife? A steak knife? So straight edge, serrated edge, steak knife. And then if you have like a cutting board and like a bunch of like old moldy fruit and vegetable in the back of the fridge that you want to cut up, that would be awesome. So if you can grab a straight edge, a serrated edge, and a steak knife, and then if you have like a cutting board and a bunch of like old fruits and veggies that you want to like cut up, like a tomato or something like that, that would be awesome. And I just wait. I'm not moving forward until they come back. Cool. And they're like, something like this, be like, yep, and then you can get a serrated edge, the one with like the points. Cool. You like a little steak knife? Okay, cool. And then you need fruits and veggies, like, yeah, we can cut up an apple. You have to convince them to do some of this sometimes. They're like, okay, I guess. Yeah, I'll do it. Dude, it's a 12-cent tomato. I'm not putting anybody in the poorhouse because of it. I'm not working with college kids here. Okay. So it's okay that they cut it up. Plus, this will be the most fun thing they'll ever do in their life. Okay. All right. So Mrs. Jones, before I get started with Cutco, my question is, just so I know, do you cook because you have to, because you like to, or because you love to? Gotcha. Well, then I'm glad I'm here, because you're going to love Cutco. Okay. A couple of other things that I'm working on. Got the President's Club letter. I'll tell you if you help me hit that one by the end of the training. And then All-American Scholarship. This is something that I can't tell you if I'm going to win it today. What I'll do at the end of this demo, Mrs. Jones, if you want to be one of my supporters and one of my fans, is I'll just add you on Facebook. And if I get a chance to win one of these scholarships, I'll just let you know. And we'll do like big celebration on social media. Sounds good, Mrs. Jones? And I'll high five either them or I'll high five the screen. So I already made him agree that I'm going to add him as a friend on Facebook. Page number 3. All right, so Mrs. Jones, I can't remember, but on the phone, did you guys already own Cutco, or is this the first time you're seeing it? First time you're seeing it? Okay, well, let me tell you some of the cool things about Cutco. It's been around since 1949. All of our stuff is made in Olean, New York. It's a little city next to Buffalo. We sell $250 million of Cutco. So I know most of the people in this neighborhood probably already have it. We have 20 million customers. And, you know, obviously, especially since people are cooking so much more in the summer. And I think what happened, you know, the great thing about COVID, high five, Mrs. Jones. I like to just start sentences like that. The great thing about COVID is that just people started cooking at home a lot more. And doesn't it just save so much money? I think that's why we sell so much Cutco. We're also the prop producer of K-Bar knives. Mrs. Jones, do you know anybody in the military? Okay, cool. The knife that they got in the military, we make that product too. So they're very high quality. And I'll look at Mr. Jones and I'll give that nod. You're gonna notice that I'm gonna nod pretty much the whole time during the demo. It's just a lot harder to say no when they're watching me nod the whole time. And there's also a physiological reaction that happens when you're watching somebody nod. That's exactly why Kaylee's nodding her head right now, even if she's not really noticing that she's doing it. Some people are more susceptible than others because you're more visual than other people, but it's almost impossible, right? Because like forcing her head to not move right now, it's just like clenching her teeth, but it is such a physiological reaction to nod if somebody else is nodding at you, right? Mm-hmm. Totally not a sheep. Okay, it's not a bad thing that we're physiological reactive. It means that we're in tune emotionally. Okay, so that's a good thing, not a bad thing. So, all right. Just Rebecca's just the world's greatest contrarian, so, but that's why we like each other. All right, so Mrs. Jones, I want to go ahead and show you the quality of Cutco. Would you mind doing me a favor? Could you go grab me a penny? Do you have like a penny in your purse or a jar? On a virtual demo, I'll ask him to go grab a penny too. Check out how I do it. You'll think this is funny. All right, Mrs. Jones, can you hold up the penny up to the camera real quick? Just hold it up as close as possible. And I'm like, boop, I got it. Why do you think I do that? Because it makes them laugh. And the little kid is like, wait, how did he do that? He looked at the mom's penny. He's like, no, I got it right there. Be like, yep, got it. You just kind of go right up here and be like, yep, thank you. Appreciate that. It's how you create interaction, even if you don't have interaction. Be like, all right, if I'm at the customer's house, I'm like, all right, is one of your kids here? You want to call them? I'm going to do a magic trick. They're like, what's a magic trick? What do you mean? And I'm like, all right, check this out. Ready? Oh, wait, hold on a second. I got to touch the Cutco logo. There we go. And then I'll just go ahead and I'll hold it up to the screen. And I'll let the little kid, like, is it okay if I let the little kid hold it? And the mom's like, yeah, it's fine. She's like, they freak out. They think you're low-level Iron Man, and they also are like hiring you for babysitting at this point. Okay, so these shears, we call them super shears. They should have like a little cape flying behind them, right? As they are one of the Marvel superhero collection shears. And what's great is that you can use them for everything. You can cut through chicken, those really hard plastics that electronics come in, hard cardboard. You know how you get all those boxes from Amazon? And you got to like break them down, otherwise they don't fit in the recycling bin. These are like the best for that. Also, like cutting apart little dog food treats. If like they have a dog, be like, you know how like you sometimes want to get like the bigger like dog food treats, but you don't want to give them all at once. You can like cut them in half, and like the dog's like, whoa, that's not a full treat. Well, they won't see it because you're doing it with the shears. And then when you're done, you can take them apart, so you can put them in the dishwasher so they're more sanitary for future uses. But then you can use them also in the garden. So you can cut like little pieces of plants, all the old weeds and everything like that, bales of hay, all the gardening stuff, all that kind of stuff, no problem. Okay. And they're good for everything. In fact, let me show you a couple of other uses for them. Okay, I'm gonna skip to that. All right, Mrs. Jones. So what I want to do right now is I want to show you where we got the idea for Cutco. What I'm going to show you right now, Mrs. Jones, are the world's most expensive set of knives. What do you think they're going to look like? They're going to be like Cutco? Be like, maybe. And I'll flip to that. Mrs. Jones, these are the world's most expensive knives. You ever seen a drawer that looks like this? Yeah. Most knives are engineered to dull or break in a couple of years. So most households waste a ton of money replacing cheap knives over and over again. You probably know this better than I do, but cheap knives have a lot of problems. Okay, the first problem is going to be just where you're holding it. This is like the most intimate part of cooking, is the holding of the knife, right? So obviously, you know, our hands are porous. That's why we put lotion on them, right? So it kind of makes them healthier. But we absorb everything. We absorb things through our skin. That's why you don't put like gross suntan lotion on, right? Wooden handles, Mrs. Jones, are absolutely disgusting to have in the kitchen. They absorb everything, blood, they absorb grease, they absorb bacteria. They're illegal to be used in hospitals as well as hotels. And a lot of people have them because they stole them from their parents' drawer. But there's more bacteria on a wooden handle than on top of your toilet bowl. What happens when you put down a wooden handle on a cutting board, it absorbs everything. Even some of the stuff that was there from the last time you used it, if you didn't wash it right. If you cut chicken, it absorbs all the salmonella, raw meat, bacteria, and all that kind of stuff. You know, old dairy, cheeses, fruit, the sugars, that can all grow bacteria and that kind of stuff. And when you touch it, you can carry it from other surfaces to other surfaces. That's why we don't recommend wooden cutting boards. We don't recommend wooden handles for all those same reasons. Now, plastic handles, much more sanitary. But the problem with plastic is most of the plastic on cheap knives like this is really going to be kind of brittle, and it melts and chips and cracks and kind of falls apart. The glue can come apart if you've ever seen like those jiggly plastic handles like that. I did that because people's mind fills in the things that aren't there as long as you kind of do your hand little pictures. Okay, so plastic handles typically will chip and melt. And also it's super, super dangerous when you have like that big pool of soapy water after washing dishes after cooking. And you've got like 4 or 5 kitchen knives in there, and all of a sudden you don't want to let the kids wash them, and so people can cut themselves. So we don't recommend those cheap plastic smooth kind of handles like that instead. Now, the next kind of thing that we're going to talk about is the material of the steel. Now, I know there's not that much high carbon. Maybe you've got one old random, you know, high carbon knife in there. This is just gonna be a really great way to get a lot of iron in your diet, yeah, because they start to rust and that starts to chip off into the food. Now, this is like the devil in disguise, the stainless steel. The reason why is because it looks really nice. They're really nice and shiny. But the problem with stainless steel is that it's really, really soft. There's no carbon in it. So it's going to be super flimsy. It's going to be really kind of bendy. And what happens is that it's going to make it so the knives go really tall, really fast. They snap the tips off all the time. It's obviously a big waste of money. So stainless steel is that knife that it's kind of a one and done. You use it for a little while. It's like a disposable toothbrush. After a while, it just doesn't really work very good. And there's no way to sharpen them up. Even if you try, they're going to pretty much go dull right away. Now, there's 2 different types of edges. We've got straight edges and we got serrated edges. Okay, straight edges are kind of the thing you're looking for because you can sharpen them. They're going to make a really clean cut. Now, the only problem with straight edges is that they touch the cutting board the entire way through. So they go dull every single time. Mrs. Jones, do you know how often you're supposed to sharpen your knives? You ever watch Cooking Show? Yeah, it's every single time. Because Mrs. Jones, what's more dangerous? A sharp knife or a dull knife? Dull knife, right? Because you got to push down so much harder. Now, Mrs. Jones, full transparency. When's the last time you sharpened your knives? She's gonna be like, is it possible that you maybe have never sharpened your knives? Maybe once a year? Yeah, most people never do until it's too late, until the knives are actually really dull. And that's when it's almost like dangerous at this point. Okay, so what we're trying to avoid here is dull, dangerous knives. Now, serrated edges, that's another devil in disguise because yes, they're going to be sharper a lot longer at the beginning because they cut with just those sharp, super sharp points. But here's the problem. When those go dull, there's no way to resharpen them. You forget that they're dull until every time you use them. And all of a sudden you're trying to cut through something that's like a, you know, you're trying to cut through one of those like really amazing, like cooked briskets. And you try to cut with a serrated knife and it starts to like rip and tear and all the juice goes everywhere. And those like 12 hours of cooking the brisket just go down the toilet. Oh, what a crime. Mr. Jones, do you guys ever barbecue? Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So all of a sudden now Mr. Jones isn't thinking about why serrated edges. It's like in the time where he's the most excited about cutting some food, he's like, damn, that's when serrated edges suck the most. So I want to kind of paint those visions for them. All right, and then the last thing I want to talk about is partial tang. I mean, gosh, talk about just being a cheap waste of money. That means the company doesn't even care enough about the customer to even put enough steel on the handle. And that's when they all just break. Partial tang means the steel only goes through halfway to the handle, and I just cut the handle in half like that. Okay, they can just break really easy. And then these little metal clamps, these rivets, if they're made of brass or stainless steel, they can expand or contract or pop out in really hot or cold temperatures, just like your dishwasher. That's why they actually tell you not to put the knives in the dishwasher, because they'll fall apart. Just so you know, Mrs. Jones, dishwashers don't dull steel. That's an old wives' tale. The reason why they tell you not to put knives in the dishwasher is because the knives will fall apart. Now, the company doesn't want to say that because they don't want to say like, oh, just so you know, our knives are going to break in half. They're going to tell you that they're going to dull the knives. That's not true. Tomatoes and water don't dull steel. What does the steel is the cutting boards underneath, the hard surfaces. Okay, so Mrs. Jones, are you ready to see the solution to all these problems? So, Mrs. Jones, if you answer this question correctly, I might be able to give you some free Cutco at the end of this. You ready? Mrs. Jones, what do you think is the solution to all of these problems? All right, Mrs. Jones, high five. You might get some free Cutco at the end of this. I'll do the same thing when I'm on the camera. Dude, I will do like 73 fake high fives into the camera because it creates even the artificial connection. Put it this way. Okay, ready? High five. I didn't touch you, but in your mind, you felt it. Because our brain is strong enough to create experiences even if they don't really happen. Welcome to the world of virtual reality, right? Even if I never touched Rebecca, that high five meant something. It's an artificial connection. And because you're not there, you need to do that 1,000 times more than if you were there. By the way, at the customer's house, I probably high five the customer 20 times over the course of an appointment. Because connection creates a passage of information. I want to create a connection between me and you, however I can, especially if I don't know you very well. High fives, fist bumps, all the time. Yes, Cutco for sure. All right, so let me go ahead and show you the Cutco product. All right, Mrs. Jones, are you ready? And I'm on virtual. I'm not even showing it yet. This is showmanship. I'll give it like a little wipe. And then I'll turn. Because when you do that, you can even see it here. What do you notice? The shiny. Ladies, do we like shiny? What's the most sought after shiny thing in the world sometime? Not everybody, if you're a woman. Ring. Well, Cutco sparkles like a ring. And I want to create the visual that Cutco is almost like jewelry. It's precious. So what did I do at the beginning? I polished the blade. I took it out slowly. I revealed it. Because this might be the nicest thing this customer ever buys for themselves. This might be the only thing that Mrs. Jones ever buys that's the best of its type in the world. You got to think about like, okay, a lot of people will never have, a Movado, a Rolex watch. A lot of people won't have a Mercedes or a Porsche, but they actually can get the world's greatest cutlery, and they're going to get it from you if you do a good enough job on your demo. All right, Mrs. Jones, if I was there right now, I would let you hold it. So can you see the handle? And this is the coolest thing, is the grip. So one of the cool things about the grip is that it locks your thumb and forefinger into place for comfort. This is where 75% of the human hand strength is between these two fingers. So it maximizes your hand strength today, but also, 30 to 40 years from now, when you have Cutco and maybe our wrists aren't as strong as they are today, it's going to make it so much easier to hold. So again, when you have it in the next 30 to 40 years, this same knife, it's going to be so much easier to hold. Now, the next feature about Cutco is the thermoresin material. If you have a ring on, I always like to kind of hit it because it makes a little bit of a different twang than regular cheap plastic does. Okay, so it's the thermoresin material. This material is very similar to motorcycle and football helmets. Yeah, if the police tells you to wear them, that must mean because those materials are pretty important, right? It's going to protect the human head, and it can definitely withstand falling off a 3-foot ledge, you know, from like your counters or something. It will not chip, crack, break, absorb moisture or bacteria. And Mrs. Jones, ready for the coolest feature? We are the only high quality knife that is 100% dishwasher safe. In fact, we recommend that you put Cutco in the dishwasher to clean it properly. They're going to be like, value, 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 value. Okay, the next feature about Cutco, and by the way, if I'm at the customer's house, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to hand it to them. They're going to put it down. I don't know if you guys noticed in, like, you know, Lidons, they always put the knife down, and I'm going to grab it back. The next feature is that it has full tank. Check it out. And I'll make them grab it again. And I'm going to keep handling it to them. I'm going to keep handing to them on, like, I'm going to hand it to them 3 times over the course of one appointment, because I want them to hold it the whole entire time. As you can see, it's got these 3 rivets, these metal clamps that hold the knife together. It's called nickel silver. Very similar to what they hold together the fillings in your teeth. Very similar to the rivets they use to hold together the space shuttle. They will never expand, contract, or pop out in horrible temperatures like your dishwasher as well. And then last thing that we're going to go through is going to be the so we have high carbon stainless steel. I know there's a couple of features that I'm not necessarily going through as much. We have high carbon steel. This is the same kind of steel that they use in surgical instruments, that they'll use in hospitals. It's the most expensive steel that you can use on kitchen knives. And then we do this incredible 12-step polishing process that for those of you that go to Olean in the fall, you're going to get a chance to see it. It's probably the most impressive thing they do with Cutco. And that's why it has the mirror finish. In fact, what's cool about Cutco is that it's able to show you the next Cutco customer if you look closely at the blade. Can you see your own eyes in there? I'll do the same thing. Can you see your own face in there? Yeah, I know. It's like a little fortune teller. By the way, I'm not trying to land like the world's greatest jokes. I'm landing that's my goal. About 7 of those throughout my demo is fine. They're like, they're nice. Yeah, I'll recommend it to all my friends. Yeah, I want to prevent like the word stranger from coming into the mix, right? So I just want to be fun and kind of a little cheesy and, you know, make them laugh at least. Again, not like full, but it's just like, those are the best. You can get the dad to be like, you're in. Okay, he's going to even give you some referrals. All right, so Mrs. Jones, we're going to go ahead and do the rope cutting, but we're going to wait for that one for next Saturday. We didn't get through as much, but I'm not going to take away your phone jam. Okay, so if you liked what you saw today, come back for the next Saturday, and we'll do a little bit more. It might take me 3 Saturdays to do my whole demo. Obviously, I'm pausing at some points.